final action of summer cyclocross before we get into the mud of winter CX, and I didn't get the whole shot this week, but a fairly decent start coming in third place, and most importantly, some of you will recognise the rider in front of me from the last couple of weeks, Mr. Paul Lloyd, who's an absolute animal. So I just know that I need to go with his wheel, try and stay with him as long as possible. People always tell me, why don't you try pacing? No one wants to see a paced race. We want to see the action at the front, and we're at the front, and I think it's Thomas for Pedalon that's absolutely setting a blistering pace right now, and I was thinking to myself, holy cow, I hope this pace eases off a bit. But you guessed it, it doesn't, because look, every time Paul gets the chance to accelerate, just out the saddle, absolutely rips it, and it really, really stings the legs. And then to top it all off, heart rate's already rising. I have an absolute shocker into this corner. So fast downhill into a right-hander, and I just get it horribly wrong. Let the wheel go here. Run wide into the tape. Then I've got to make this big surge to try and shut the gap. Look, 900 watts up here. Absolutely blowing my biscuit. But I've got no bullets left to shoot now, because that is it. But I was thinking, I've got to shut that down. Paul's moved up into first place, and you know if you let him get a gap, he is going to be gone. But there's also some super strong riders behind me as well, so I'm worried about that. Luke is back racing again, obviously on his mountain bike, but you know he's strong, so at some point he's going to come past me. And it was this section here, Paul was setting a solid pace. Look, heart rate's at 175. I'm not sure what it maxed out in at this race. Probably not a lot more than that, to be honest. But we come down into this descent, and he puts a big attack in as he hits the climb. And I just know that I had to try and shut it down and go with it. And it was just another match burn that I probably didn't have. It's just so fast, the start of a cross race. And you need to be racing a lot to get used to it, but just here is where he accelerates big, and I see that gap opening up, and I'm like, oh boy, you're gonna have to shut that down straight away. So yet again, I've ripped a little 800 watt surge to get back on his wheel, and I knew I was going to be in an absolute bad way. Look, he's ripping it every chance he gets. It's his masterclass. I want to know what his secret is. He told me it was cake a couple of weeks ago. I can tell you it's not cake. The man's an animal. I think naturally high VO2 max is the secret, ladies and gentlemen. But look, every time out the saddle, bang, absolutely putting you in that. Them surges kill me, like 700, 800 watt surges out of every corner. I'd much rather settle into a pace and keep it nice and smooth. But if you want to go with the front of the race, you've got to be willing to suffer. And this course was the first week where we had some hurdles, which was good for the first few laps, and it was bad for me in the end. But Paul decides to dismount here and run, which gives me a bit of an advantage. I probably could have accelerated round him there, but I decided not to, because I didn't want to lead it out. I wanted a wheel to suck. But then he takes a wrong turn. Where are you going, Paul? I almost followed him. Basically, lap one was different. Then I come round this next corner, and there was tape across the course. So then I mowed through the tape, took that down, and my moment at the front was over because Paul come back past me, unfortunately. That was my moment of glory. I beat Paul Lloyd for one lap of a bike race. It is a bloody miracle. But you can see it is all about to go to absolute pieces, because that one lap and 4 minutes was about peak George right there. Peak George, because Paul accelerates on this next straight and I get signed, sealed, delivered, dispatched just here, and there was honestly nothing I could do about it. We're doing like 400 or 500 watts. Your boy's not got these watts in him. Look, he just pulls away from me like I'm stood still, and I had to ease off the gas. I was trying my best. I'm like over threshold now. Luke comes past me and I'm like, right, jump on Luke's wheel. A couple of weeks ago he absolutely chopped me, so I'm expecting the same thing again. I've got my elbow sharp this week, and I thought if I can jump on his wheel. He almost closed that gap down to Paul, but as soon as Paul got on this straight again, he just accelerated. Look, 800 watts again. Absolutely mind-blowing. And look, Paul accelerated away, and I jumped on Luke's wheel, and I thought Luke was going to shut it down, but Luke just didn't have the legs. Elite mountain biker. I'm not going to lie to you, being on a cross bike makes a huge difference around these summer cyclocross courses, especially when you're running slicks. So fair play to him for grizzing it out on the mountain bike. Super, super strong. But I tried to stay with him. Eventually, he did pull away. But fear not, ladies and gentlemen, because I get back on his wheel later on in the race, because he absolutely has a monumental blow up. And Georgie boy becomes the fastest fourth racer for the first time ever. But yeah, this is where he started to pull away from me. You can see the gap to Paul isn't massive, but he just does not ease off the gas all the time. Every time there's a straight, every corner, he attacks it. And it's just, I just can't do that. I'm not fit enough. Then I'm starting to fall back now. The Kingston Wheeler rider comes round me and just rides away from me like I'm stood still again. Every time someone was passing me, I was like, just jump on the wheel, Georgie boy, jump on the wheel, and I couldn't. So I lose Kingston Wheeler's wheel. Then I'm in fourth place now, and I'm thinking this is race over. Then I drop back again into fifth place, and I was like, right, you just got to get on the Sprocket rider's wheel. You remember him from some of the other race videos I've done. Super strong junior rider. I think he's only 16. But got a smart head on his shoulders as well. When he doesn't go off like an absolute lunatic, I'll show you in a minute, he makes some wicked, wicked decisions. But he pulled me back into this race. I just had to absolutely bury myself. You can see just up ahead, he drags us along and shuts the gap down to Luke. Luke has absolutely blown up. Paul Lloyd has dispatched Luke like he is a nobody, but he dispatched us all, so that is the way it is. But he dragged us back on. Luke's blown up, so I've moved round into, well, I'm about to overtake him. I thought I'd just milk this moment for the camera. Then I go, look, he gets out of the saddle and I'm like, see you later. Strongest fourth rider, Del Boy, is here. I need a promotion. But as you can see, the Sprockets rider dismounted. Great decision when there was riders around, but because of that it allowed me to get back on his wheel and move back up into third place. Seriously smart rider there. He could have tried to jump that when there was riders about. Sometimes you got to think on your feet. I take my hat off to a 16-year-old for not panicking there. Top ride. But we both had a really, really good little battle now, and I don't know how, but we were pulling it back to the Kingston Wheelers rider. You can see him just ahead of us now, a couple of corners up, and it was like game on again. Obviously Paul Lloyd had gone. He had left us for dead, but me and the Sprockets rider were shutting it down and getting back on to the Kingston Wheelers rider, and we were in a battle for second now. So you can see he is just up ahead. We're about to close the gap and get back in the race. And this is where it all goes horribly wrong for Georgie boy, unfortunately. You can see just here, there is the Kingston Wheelers guy. Now, I knew he was going to dismount the hurdles, and I think I was thinking too much about that and not enough about jumping the hurdles. And what do? You can't park there, Georgie boy. I've absolutely stacked it. Heart rate was maxed out then as well. Stacked it. By the time I've got back on the bike, I've fallen back to fourth place, I think it was. My shoe had broken. My head had absolutely gone. My leg was hurting. All the excuses coming out right now. And you can see the two on the left there battling it out for second and third. And I just couldn't shut that gap back down. I had to start dismounting the hurdles because I was absolutely fearing for my life that I was going to go over the handlebars again. And because my shoe wasn't locked in, I knew I wouldn't be able to do it. So it was survival mode to get to the finish. Ended up in fourth place. That is a wrap on Summer CX. Let's go and hit up some winter racing. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.